Allegedly, Von had orchestrated the murder of Duck and put a six-figure bounty on his head prior to the murder. But this wasn't Von's first time taking a life in Chicago. Von had allegedly killed 7 people in the gang war between the Black Disciples and the Gangster Disciples in Chicago, something that I broke down in detail in a 3-hour documentary on my channel where I actually argued that he indeed met the FBI's definition of a serial killer. Somehow, Von always managed to evade justice, either beating his murder charges in court due to lack of evidence or not being charged at all due to the fact that his murders were usually committed in the dead of night in the slums of Southside Chicago, rather than the broad daylight assassinations that his friends would later carry out in front of the public. King Von was one of Lil Durk's best friends, and when Von beat his last murder charge at the end of 2017, he decided to follow in Lil Durk's footsteps, becoming a drill rapper too, and openly rapping about the many murders he'd allegedly committed. Von's raps, openly bragging about real murders he'd apparently committed, made him a star in drill music, and with Lil Durk's help and guidance, he quickly became the most buzzing gangster rapper in drill music. But in his heart, Von was still a violent thug, and his tendencies to commit brazen violence would begin to impact Durk's career. In 2019, Von and Durk, along with—
Hey, is this too fast? I could slow it down a little bit. Yeah, let me slow it down slightly. Yeah.
2 other people would be accused of attempted murder and armed robbery, with the 2 appearing in court together.
Case against a rapper accused in a shooting outside of the Varsity will move forward. Today, Lil Durk appeared in court where a judge ruled there was enough evidence for him to go to trial.
On Friday, detectives from Atlanta and Chicago testified in the criminal case against rapper Lil Durk in Fulton County Court. They say around 5 in the morning on February 5th, Lil Durk, whose real name is Dirk Banks, and his co-defendant, Devon Bennett, were seen on camera involved in shooting Alexander Witherspoon, a person police say they knew.
They were hanging out. They went to a studio to make music.
The rapper and Bennett listened to the evidence against them in court. Police told the judge later that night the victim, Banks, Bennett, and others went to a nightclub, a gas station, and ended up in the parking lot of the Varsity. That's when Witherspoon said he was robbed and shot.
Interestingly, Durk looked stressed and nervous in court, while Von looked comfortable and in a familiar domain. Durk and Von would refer to themselves over the years as the Evil Twins, and in one song titled Evil Twins, they referred to themselves as that and went back and forth, repeating, "If you do it, I'm do it," even saying, "Go hop out the car and do it." Clearly, Von was a dark and negative influence on Lil Durk and his career. Von was in the habit of doing real crimes and rapping about them in his music without a care for who heard it. And if Von did it, then Durk would begin doing it too. But unfortunately for the Evil Twins, Von would suddenly die in November 2020 after launching an unprovoked beating on the rapper Quando Rondo in front of an Atlanta hookah lounge. Sometimes in life, every action has a reaction, and the reaction from this beating resulted in one of Quando's friends, Lil Tim, jumping out of the car, opening fire, and killing King Von. Ironic.
Yo, chat, I hate to even pause this. Somebody just sent this to me. They said, ain't no way this is goddamn real. Chat, hold on. They said, please go check Meat Mill Twitter. Ain't no way. He blocked me, right? Yo, Meat gotta be trolling at this point. He said, sell TikTok to me. Yo, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Sell TikTok to me. Just stop it, bro. Come on, dog. Yo, come on, bro. Yo, this guy, the jokes just write themselves. Yo, at this point, there's no way Meek Mill is this stupid. Like, I'm really thinking, like, if he was really this dumb, it's no way his brain, heart, and lungs could function. Like, this is really low-level stupidity right here. This is like you make a chimpanzee look like a goddamn, Einstein. He got to be trolling. I think he knows what we're gonna LOL to, and it's no way. It's just no way. But okay, let me get back to this.
Von, the demonic killer turned rapper who had seemingly murdered 7 people in Chicago and got away with it, ended up getting shot dead after starting a fistfight with a rapper rather than in a shootout with gangsters. His feud with Quando Rondo started on the internet rather than in the streets, off the back of a back and forth with Quando's friend and label mate NBA Youngboy, who seemingly didn't want to proceed with a collaboration with King Von. This was followed by a petty back and forth where Von took pictures with the mother of Youngboy's child. Von essentially died over nothing more than an internet back and forth with a rapper, turned fight, turned self-defense shootout. And in the end, he was no longer here to face the music for the murders that he'd done and arranged. But after King Von died, Lil Durk was still running free. And interestingly, after Von's death, Durk was able to make a maneuver and have the attempted murder and armed robbery charges he caught with Von miraculously dropped. The sudden and tragic death of King Von meant that Lil Durk had a second chance to escape the cycle of violence and focus on his music career. But despite his promising rap career, it would seem that the death of his evil twin, King Von, consumed Lil Durk. And in the midst of the killing of one of Chicago's most dangerous rappers, who seemingly always got revenge for any of his friends that were killed, a dark trend would emerge, where fans would goad Lil Durk, begging him to get revenge or slide for Von, with rival rappers like 6ix9ine even mocking Durk openly and asking why he hasn't.
With all due respect, I'm kind of trying to see these, like, what are the details about these murders?
on disses, instead telling his goons to go and pick up a gun. Unfortunately, as we all know now from the alleged indictment, it seemed that despite the promise of his rising rap career, Durk was completely consumed by seeking revenge for Von, and in the years that followed, Durk would seemingly set into motion a series of events that would ultimately see him and his friends in jail, fighting for their lives.
So this is after Von has died now, right?
And freedom. But interesting. Before King Von's untimely passing, his rap career was rising rapidly. After the success of Crazy Story, he continued to drop bangers. In February 2020, he released perhaps my favourite song of his, Took Her to the O, a song all about taking an attractive female back to his hood, O-Block. However, the music video and narrative for this song had a dark hidden meaning, as Von was somebody who not only allegedly killed people in the gang war, but he was also a relentless troll who thrived on beef. In the video, he would have an actor that actually looked like one of his most hated rivals, FBG Duck, and the video would even depict Von shooting Duck and leaving him dead on the ground. However, this was more than just a fantasy video prodding his rival, because within 6 months of that video that depicted Duck shot dead on the ground being released, it would seem that Von and his closest friends conspired to make that happen in real life, with events unfolding that put all of the surviving shooters behind bars for good, and potentially creating a multi-million-dollar liability for Lil Durk. As everyone following the drill scene likely knows by now, FBG Duck's murder was allegedly part of a long-running beef between two gang sets from the south side of Chicago. Duck's set, STLEBT, sometimes referred to as 63rd or Tuckerville, largely identify as gangster disciples. On the other side is O-Block, who are primarily black disciples, this being the set where the majority of Duck's convicted killers hail from. A deadly feud between these two factions, who exist just a stone's throw away from each other, stretches back more than a decade, particularly throughout the 2010s, when this feud would claim the lives of many young men in the area, with Redditors speculating that at least 10 people lost their lives in this deadly beef. But to understand exactly how Lil Durk became part of this beef, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. Some of the first mentions online about the beef between STLEBT and O-Block, or Wick City as it was known then, date all the way back to the early 2010s, although likely the beef had already started in the late 2000s. However, as already alluded to earlier, this war was never just between these two sets, but rather between numerous gang sets whose affiliations and rivalries were commonly based on their overarching gang identities, these being the Gangster Disciples and the Black Disciples, or the GDs versus the BDs, with sets like O-Block, Lamron, 600, Front Street, and TYMB being clicked up on the BD side, while sets like SDL, EBT, Jaro City, Taekwon World, MOB, and Brick Squad would form an alliance on the GD side. When it comes to the specific affiliation between O-Block and Lamron, the prosecutors in the criminal case against FBG Duck's alleged killers would claim that this began in the early 2010s, as testified by one of the cooperators in the case. However, while the rivalry technically existed between all the sets from the two sides, the BDs and the GDs, it was often determined by proximity to other sets. Therefore, the beefs between certain sets were much more fierce than other beefs. Looking at these different sets on the map, it's no surprise then that the beef between sets like O-Block, Front Street, and 600 and TYMB on one side, and SDL, EBT, Jaro City, Taekwon World, and MOB on the other side was particularly fierce, as most of these sets were located only a few blocks away from each other. Meanwhile, Durk's set was located in Inglewood, which is on the other side of the I-90 and I-94 highways. While technically only about 1.5 miles away from places like O-Block, it was still worlds apart from the Woodlawn and Washington Park neighborhoods where the aforementioned sets were having their beef. And because of this distance, Lamron wasn't really in an active war against sets like Duck's STL EBT, as they were largely consumed by their own local rivalries in Inglewood with sets like the Brick Squad. In fact, in March 2011, Lil Durk would feature in the song We Ball, which also featured members of the rap group Buck 20 Brick Boys. One of these members being the rapper Billionaire Black, who's even pictured around Lil Durk at this time. However, Billionaire Black was at this point already heavily affiliated with rival sets like STL, EBT, and Jaro City, and only 2 months later, Billionaire Black would make the song E-Day Is You Serious, together with none other than FBG Duck himself, this song being a diss towards the rapper E-Day from the 600 set, who on the other hand was already at this point clicked up with Durk's Lamron crew, rapping in his song What Up from April 2011 how he's throwing up L's for Lamron with Durk's good friend Chief Wook. After this debacle, it seems that Durk and the rest of Lamron would quickly make their affiliation with the BD side known, and even get somewhat involved in the rivalry against the GDs in Woodlawn and the Washington Park neighborhoods, because as mentioned earlier, later that same year in October, Lil Durk would get arrested together with Lil Reese due to an investigative alert, which was allegedly due to a shooting that had happened in late August 2011 where 4 teens had gotten shot in Woodlawn, with one of these allegedly being FBG Butter, a member of STL EBT and a good friend of Duck. FBG Butter would be a big part of this early beef, particularly between STL EBT and O-Block. He would tell DJ Vlad in an interview about the juvenile origins of this beef, revealing that King Von actually threw his hat in the mud as a kid, and that years later he'd actually beaten up Von on the bus after school, which apparently caused Von to become very vengeful.
When we were shorties, through my church, the legend had in the mud down in the basement in the back of his mama's house. I threw my downstairs in the basement to the mud. Bro, I beat his then too. One of the guys at school, I guess they was in that shooting ice or whatever. Folks who he got into it with was too big for him. And folks just told him like, wait till we get out of school, I'm gonna have my little homie scratch you out. Talking crazy, not knowing who his little homie is. So when I came on the bus, folks like, man, whoop him, buddy.
Lil Jojo from Brick Squad would release his song BDK in April, aimed particularly at Durk and Lamron. However, the chorus of the song would go much further than that, essentially dissing all of the Black Disciple sets in Chicago, as Jojo would announce that he and his set are BDK, or Black Disciple Killers. All of this was happening at a moment when the drill music movement was blowing up, way past the borders of
Yo, I swear, like, when I was doing the Warren Shire, I feel like these niggas do a way better job than me, because like they like kind of really put it together. I was just reporting random shit, man.
Chicago to worldwide notoriety, all with the help of Chief Keef, and with the possibilities of fame and fortune at the fingertips of every driller and drill rapper, is by immediately announcing that the Chicago Legends track was nothing but business, before going straight back to dissing dead people from the BD side. Duck would also acknowledge Von mentioning his brother Brick in the song Took Her to the O, saying that Brick had been slinging dope when Von was still doing kid stuff like swimming and fishing, before dropping some more highly disrespectful bars about dead members from sets like 600 and O-Block. Unfortunately, the rest is history. Dead certainly increased the size of the target on Duck's back, but regardless at this point, he was the most high-profile GD rapper from 63rd and probably the biggest trophy in the streets for his ops. Sadly, in August 2020, about a month after releasing that song, Duck would end up getting brutally gunned down by members and affiliates of O-Block in a brazen, broad daylight attack in Chicago's most upscale shopping district, located in the Gold Coast neighborhood, right in front of the Dolce & Gabbana store. Now, if you want to see a deep dive all into the details of the murder of FBG Duck and the aftermath, you can go and check out my 2.5-hour video just on that topic. But for the purpose of this video, let's keep things brief and focused on Durk's connection to the crime. Because right after Duck's murder, Durk would once again be caught right in the middle of an Instagram live when fans would begin to barrage him with comments about Duck's passing, with Durk acting like nothing had ever happened, showing himself hopping off a private jet in good spirits, while completely ignoring the imploring messages about the death of his biggest enemy.
See your fans make a plan while I'm scoring the mail. In 39 years, I heard a friend say, oh, boy, getting money right up. I took a picture on my block, they think I'm back in the field.
Von, on the other hand, would come out with the most unconvincing statement, trolling the whole world, saying how the two had settled their differences right before Duck's passing, even adding sarcastic lines about how he was going to be thinking of Duck every step of the way, and also making snide remarks about how Duck had been dissing his dead friends and family members. Meanwhile, as time went on, the feds would get involved in Duck's murder investigation and track down the entire route that the killers had taken to the murder scene, tracing their origin back all the way to O-Block, with surveillance footage literally filming the entire crime, with them driving from O-Block to the murder, committing it, and then driving back again. However, even with all of this evidence, it would be over a year before the feds would even be able to move in with their indictment, but eventually, in September 2021, the feds would indict 5 people for the murder of Duck. Charles Liggins, aka C Murder, Kenneth Robertson, aka Kenny Mac, DeCarlos Offord, aka Los, Christopher Thomas, aka DThang, and Marcus Smart, aka Muwop, as well as another man, Ralph Turpin, aka Teasy, who had been the person that spotted Duck and gave up his location. With such a clear trail left behind by the so-called O-Block 6, also known as the Sloppy 6, it was inevitable that they would also eventually be found guilty, and all 6 are ultimately facing mandatory life sentences, while a 7th person associated with the murder, Zell Munna from O-Block, would sadly end up taking his own life before the FBI could indict him. However, during and after the trial, the discussion would also focus on the possible culpability of Von and Lil Durk in Duck's murder, particularly as the prosecution's legal documents would claim that Turpin, aka Teasy, had allegedly called someone after he spotted Duck in the shopping district, asking around to get put in contact with Lil Durk's brother and manager, DThang, who was coincidentally no longer alive by the time these arrests took place. The indictment would also mention a person named as Individual E, who pretty clearly appears to be Lil Durk, being listed as a high-ranking member of the BDs, with these details suggesting that even the FBI wasn't ruling out the possibility of Lil Durk's personal involvement in the hit on FBG Duck, but avoiding naming him specifically. In fact, based on these documents, some YouTubers would even claim that DThang would have been indicted too if he hadn't been killed in June 2021. Furthermore, it would be revealed that there had allegedly been up to a $100,000 bounty placed on Duck's head leading up to the murder, with many pointing out to a vlog filmed in O-Block a couple months before the murder took place that showed Von giving out wads of cash to other members as potential proof of this bounty being handed down. Furthermore, the person placing this bounty allegedly being someone who bought custom-made chains for O-Block members. Indeed, the Fed's investigation would also focus on the so-called O-Block chains that King Von had actually purchased for many members of his set both before and after Duck's murder, with many of the alleged killers of Duck also receiving one, as Von would apparently spend over $100,000 to buy altogether 16 O-Block chains. The timing of these purchases and the distribution of the chains to prominent members of O-Block, including the alleged killers, appeared to symbolize loyalty and respect within the gang's ranks, as well as possibly being a reward for a job well done with regards to the Duck murder. For example, Muwop could be seen with Von at the jewelry store shopping for additional O-Block chains a mere 6 days after the murder, while others like C Murder could also be seen posing with the chain on his social media just a few days after the murder. Interestingly, also Lil Durk himself seemingly received one of these chains, while Boss Top was alleged to be one of the leaders of O-Block alongside Von during the trial, with Top actually describing the chain as a hood trophy. But wearing the O-Block chain was by no means Lil Durk's only connection to Duck's murder, because in the years following Duck's passing, Lil Durk would diss FBG Duck several times in his music. For example, in his December 2020 song Redman, Durk would mention how he knows someone who died with a famous name, but his friends still haven't slid for him. This possibly being a reference to the fact that FBG Duck set, STL-EBT, aka Tukaville, would seemingly not retaliate following his murder, with apparent posts circulating suggesting that Duck's people were frustrated that nobody actually got revenge for for him. However, the more clear-cut disses towards FBG Duck would start in early 2021, as Lil Durk would release the brutally named song Should've Ducked, together with Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty, where Lil Durk raps how he gets so high, he gets high as Duck, a reference to Duck being dead and in heaven. As Duck's mother, Lashina Weekly, aka Mama Duck, would hear Durk play the song in late 2020, she would hop on social media to point out how Durk was monetizing her son's death, whilst also mentioning how Lil Durk had not been mentioning FBG Duck while he was alive, seemingly unaware of just how far back the animosity between these two goes.
Now he wanna get high. He about to get high like Duck. Durk. He hurt V-Roy. Well, he better take that who made the V-Roy gone. Not my mother son. Cause he ain't do it. Remember they had a song together. Remember they had their differences. Study one for the industry. This is proof. Y'all really showing y'all rich off mixing in my mother son. Y'all rich off mixing in Tuka. Show your craft. Do something else besides this and music. Show my that you really go pop like my son was trying to do. He was trying to cross over. Yo, sitting up here mixing in somebody who ain't getting too about you. He was right. You probably did Illuminati him. You probably did send him to get bodied. Now you study this in my son. And it's Christmas. Beautiful Christmas. That don't make no sense. How y'all used to be as one. Y'all got y'all ass in the industry and blackball all the GDs. Trying to well, I'ma just keep that real. Don't make no sense. Why is this man mixing in my son? He never did it while he was alive. And if he did do it, he sneak this and do it. He sneak this and do it. He always went around it. Oh, now you're so freely. You can say my son's name. He not your op, baby. Go out to the mother who got your sick. You feeling like us. We ought to unite and show these or whatever the case may be. You coming for the wrong baby.
Damn, Duck Mom could talk, bro. God damn.
Baby.
The dissing would continue only a few months later on OTF's group album Loyal Bros, which would interestingly feature the infamous O-Block chain on the cover. And in his verse for the song Dying to Hit 'Em, Durk would make another rather obvious reference to Duck getting killed outside the Dolce & Gabbana store, saying that the ops get dropped right at designer stores. In June 2021, a few months before O-Block members would be hit with the indictment, Lil Durk would release a joint album together with Atlanta rapper Lil Baby titled Voice of the Heroes, which would include the song Still Runnin' featuring Meek Mill. And in his verse, Lil Durk would rap several bars that seemed to insinuate people close to him being behind Duck's murder, as he would say how his team might have taken a few L's, but in Chicago, they're winning for sure, before making a poorly disguised reference to FBG Duck, which is only covered by the sound of a gunshot, whilst also mentioning how Duck had nowhere to go when he tried to run and failed ducking when the shooting started. Lil Durk would seemingly even enjoy making creative disses towards Duck in his personal life. In March 2022, one of the world's most famous country music stars, Morgan Wallen, who had been collaborating with Lil Durk, would respond to one of Durk's posts with a bunch of duck emojis. As drill fans would see this, they would quickly check Morgan in the comments. After that, Morgan Wallen would publish an apology, saying that he had no clue that he was disrespecting the dead, and saying that Durk would always talk to him about going duck hunting, with fans quickly realizing that Durk had seemingly been trolling Morgan Wallen behind the scenes, telling him that duck hunting was one of his favorite hobbies. Wallen, who is actually an avid duck hunter himself, had no idea what this dark alternative meaning might have meant to Lil Durk. Fans would actually even make note of Durk's many references to FBG Duck, with memes being made joking about how hard Durk seemed to work on coming up with complicated and intricate ways to diss FBG Duck. However, in November 2022, Lil Durk would seemingly have a change of heart, as he would announce to Rolling Stone magazine that he was done dissing the dead. This announcement, interestingly, taking place only a few months after the murder of Lil Pab that Durk would eventually be indicted for. But anyway, in January 2023, FBG Duck's mother would comment on the case against his son's killers, saying how she was not going to be satisfied until everyone in the murder would face justice, before making a special emphasis on the word everyone. And in a now deleted comment, she would further specify how she found it unbelievable that Lil Durk wouldn't also get locked up for the murder. However, a few months later, she would seemingly change her mind, instead contacting Durk via Instagram to congratulate him on the anti-violence initiatives that he was working on in Chicago with his Neighborhood Heroes Foundation, and asking if Durk would also meet with her Mothers of Peace Foundation. But perhaps, rather unsurprisingly, it doesn't seem that Durk ever took her up on her offer, and it soon seemed that Mama Duck would have a change of heart again, taking aim at Durk with a vengeance. As in October 2024, FBG Duck's mother, together with the mother of his child and another man, the latter two who both got shot during FBG Duck's murder, would actually sue Lil Durk, King Von's estate, and several record labels who had done business with OTF for the wrongful death of FBG Duck. The rap media would report on this explosive wrongful death lawsuit. This civil case filed by a law firm on behalf of FBG Duck's family alleges that Lil Durk, together with King Von and their affiliated groups OTF and O-Block, conspired to kill Duck and then profit from his murder.
It's been 4 years since Chicago rapper FBG Duck was killed, and his mother's pain is still raw.
Not a day goes by that I don't think about him and the life that was taken from him.
FBG Duck, whose real name was Carlton Weekly, was gunned down on the Gold Coast by a group of masked men as he waited to enter the Dolce & Gabbana store August of 2020. His girlfriend, Cache Williams, and another man also wounded in the attack. They joined Weekly's mother in filing a lawsuit Wednesday, alleging rap superstar Lil Durk had a hand in the gang-related killing, wanting to take out Weekly. Their years-long rivalry playing out in a series of violent drill rap songs.
Our complaint law lays out that a $100,000 bounty was placed on the life of FBG Duck to have him killed.
The lawsuit names a wide-ranging list of defendants, including Lil Durk, his record label Only the Family, or OTF, and other larger labels that partnered with OTF, like Sony and UMG Interscope.
The lawsuit would make several serious claims about Durk and OTF, which in light of Durk's recent criminal charges could be incredibly damning for him financially, such as claiming that OTF is actually the media outpost of the O-Block criminal organization, and that prior to being incorporated as a music label, OTF was actually a collective of gangs consisting of O-Block 600, Lamron, THF, and other Black Disciple sets, as well as saying that OTF, the label, had acted as a conglomerate for these street gangs and a hub for their activity. The suit would then claim that OTF, the label, knew, or should have known, that the gang members that they had signed.
Alright, let me see what's going on with this. So the next one is the Revenge for DThang.
Set to actually making more meaningful lyrics that people from all over could relate to.
After high school, me, DThang, and Chino had moved to Iowa. You know what I'm saying?
Chino was his manager who got killed.
Hustling with the, the work, whatever, just hustling weed. Same time, I'm always not only stay in the streets, but I'm a corporate too, so I get a gig, a little supervisor job at a plant, so I'm hustling and working, doing both. So we out there around, just chilling. We with the Iowa, go out there hustling and then working. So I never forget, Durk would start sending us songs. Him and his homie Isaac, they were sending the record, I'm like, damn, that's really dope. I'm like, damn, you really got this, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't even Lil Durk, he was Tay still, you know what I'm saying? So he finally shot a video with Reggie, Status TV. That's his cousin, you know what I'm saying, Reggie. And the video was wasted. It's probably from YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So it's wasted. So that started going up. Like, you know what I'm saying? It started doing good. Like, not even really doing YouTube videos like that yet. Right. So bro put it and it just started going up. And so he want to do music for real. He want to do this seriously. So we moved back. We was going back and forth, still hustling, get money to fund this. We moved back and really started doing this serious. And then before you know it...
Alright, I'm sorry I gotta skip through some of this shit.
Down in front of a house party during a drive-by shooting, where Melly would allegedly also get hit, but survive. The killers have never been caught, but the most popular theory online, surprisingly, points to the rivals of OTF, particularly a member of the STL EBT set called Can't Get Right, aka Get Right or Man Man. This theory being further boosted by the claim that another STL member, the infamous shooter Wooski, was allegedly later caught with Crump's murder weapon. However, this claim has seemingly been debunked by the YouTuber Loyalty and Betrayal.
Let's just be clear. Wooski was never arrested with a gun. He was arrested because he shot somebody in the leg twice who didn't want to press charges or whatever. But he was not arrested with the gun. The gun, the shell casings that they found, that they said with that shooting, that they are, I guess, assuming go with that incident, being how the guy moved, the gun obviously moved. So I'm not sure how they matched that up to say that belonged to that. But it matched the gun that was found 10 days later after Wooski was arrested. So Wooski didn't get arrested with the gun. So all those videos have false information.
After Durk's recent arrest for the murder for hire plot, some Reddit detectives have raised the question whether Crump's murder could have also been organised by Durk, with one Redditor pointing particularly to Durk's December 2020 song called Red Man, where Durk first speaks about his pain after the death of Newski before rapping a now jaw-dropping line where he seems to predict ending up in federal prison in 10 years' time. Durk then mentions how people are asking him what he'll do about someone whose name is bleeped out, but what sounds like he could be mentioning Crump, to which Durk simply responds by saying the other person is already dead. However, these lyrics are vague at best and hardly evidence of anything other than Durk's impressive ability to foresee his future in federal custody. Unfortunately, only a few months after the death of Mubu Crump, Durk would experience yet another loss that would hit very close to home, as his cousin Darnell Banks, better known as OTF Baby D, was killed in a shooting in the far south side of Chicago in October 2018. But this wasn't the whole story, as Baby D was not alone at the time of the shooting, but allegedly with DThang, whose age at the time matches that of one of the victims reported by local news, as well as another 32-year-old man. The trio would reportedly get ambushed in a McDonald's parking lot shortly before 3 AM, all of them sustaining multiple gunshot wounds, but thankfully DThang would end up surviving once again, together with the 32-year-old man. In her memoir, DThang and Durk's mother would confirm him being one of the victims of the shooting, writing how this had been one of the most serious out of all of the shootings that DThang had survived, and how Baby D's death would leave him heartbroken. Baby D's murder would go unsolved, but Melly's name would once again begin to ring in online speculations, as photos would begin to circulate of one of Baby D's cousin wearing a Long Live Baby D shirt with a large F Melly text boldly printed on the front, together with a picture of him. Durk would also seemingly begin to diss Melly often in his songs following Baby D's death, like saying how there is one special op that they haven't killed yet in his July 2019 song Like That, or even specifically addressing the person who killed his cousin cousin in his August 2019 song Die Slow, this likely being a reference to either Newski or Baby D, while seemingly giving an order to his guys to make sure that he dies slowly. Shockingly, exactly 1 month after the release of this song, 051 Melly would be killed on the south side of Chicago while attending a house party at the 6100 block of St. Lawrence Avenue, this being in the hood of the Jaro City and Taekwon World sets. But despite the peculiar timing, Durk would seemingly have nothing to do with Melly's death, as his killer would allegedly turn out to be someone with a personal vendetta against Melly, a Taekwon World member called 007 Nate, real name Nathaniel Hicks, whose house Melly had allegedly shot up leading up to the killing. However, the evidence against Nate would ultimately not meet the burden of proof beyond reasonable doubt, and despite the fact that he was apparently identified as the shooter by multiple witnesses and seen entering the house with a gun and then fleeing the house after the shooting, and being eventually caught a few days later with the murder weapon still on him, it didn't stick. Now, if that's not a sign that you can get away with murder in Chicago, I really don't know what is. But anyway, despite having nothing to do with Melly's death, Durk would seemingly keep dissing Melly in his songs, like rapping a bar asking how someone can get killed while partying in his December 2020 song Refugee, and rapping in his intro song for the January 2021 album The Voice that since the person who killed his cousin is dead, he can finally rest, as well as seemingly calling Melly his favourite op, who's now dead, in the August 2020 song Bad Guys by the former OTF rapper Timo. DThang, on the other hand, would tweet in June 2020 how every op that ever shot him is now dead, and that he walks around with 50k in jewellery in his hood, with Chiracologists taking this to mean that Baby D's killer was now dead too. For DThang, the shooting that killed Baby D was a near fatal moment, and should have probably served as his final warning to get as far away from Chicago as possible, but unfortunately, this was not the case, as DThang would seemingly keep returning to his hometown time and time again, until finally in the summer of 2021, his luck would indeed run out. It was only 2 days after Durk hit another career high, releasing his #1 collaboration album with Lil Baby, Voice of the Heroes, during the early morning hours of the 6th of June, when DThang was out partying in the city of Harvey, which is in the far south side of the greater Chicago area. He was reportedly attending a strip club called Club O, located in the middle of the city's industrial district. According to the Chicago Sun-Times, who would seemingly confuse DThang to be a rap artist like his brother, they would explain that the shooting that killed DThang involved multiple guns, and even a police officer who was nearby when the shooting started, an officer who would actually get hit in their thigh during the chaos. Unfortunately, DThang would be shot in the head, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Another OTF member called Trail had seemingly been at the club with DThang, and he too would get shot during the altercation, but would survive, later posting a thank you message to the people who had been concerned about him, as well as paying tribute to DThang and saying that he put his life on the line for him. Soon following DThang's death, there would be another deadly shooting, only an 8-minute drive away from the club, which the police would consider to be a possible retaliation, the victim in this shooting being a 39-year-old named Sanika Price. There has since seemingly been no updates about this get-back theory. From here, the media and fans would find out about DThang's death, and Reddit would light up with questions and theories, with many wondering why someone as famous and wanted as DThang, who had so much at stake with so many enemies, would risk going out partying at such a risky location. The internet would quickly turn into a hub for speculation, as amateur sleuths pieced together their own theories about what might have led to the murder, with some theories speculating that DThang had been killed due to his alleged past as a shooter for his Dog Pound set. These theories revolving particularly around Dog Pound's beef with a set called Dump Street, also known as Gutter Gang or Nate Block, sets that are part of the so-called No Love City alliance formed between numerous majority gangster disciple sets around Inglewood. As mentioned earlier in this video, No Love sets have been beefing with the BD sets from Inglewood, like Lamron and Dog Pound, since at least the early 2010s. Redditors would speculate that DThang's murder was get back for the 2013 murder of a man called 8-Ball, real name Marcus Rush, who was allegedly part of a set called CMB or Crazyville. This set having years-long ties with Dump Street, while having had at least a decade-long beef with the Dog Pound. DThang himself having dissed the set all the way back in 2014, with the wildest theories even claiming that it was DThang himself who had actually killed 8-Ball, while the most attuned drill whisperers would reveal that many members of 8-Ball's set had allegedly been posting tributes to him right after DThang's murder, with some of these tributes still seemingly being available online. However, many would question the rumours about DThang being a killer, as he had always presented himself as more of a businessman than a bona fide shooter, although DThang himself would change his Twitter handle to DThang 2 times in 2017. Now, the number and X combination typically symbolises in the drill culture the number of bodies a person had caught, with the other DThang from the 600 set using the same combination to seemingly claim 3 bodies. But whether DThang himself had been behind the murder or not, he had certainly been dissing both CMB and Dump Street, aka Gutter Gang, before his death, making sure that he still had enemies in his hometown. DThang had seemingly also indicated that the younger generation of CMB and Dump Street had been dissing Lil Durk and OTF, saying that he doesn't even know them and that all his ops are dead already. And after DThang's death, CMB would seemingly return a favour by posting slick comebacks, as one member would post on his Facebook the morning after how Chief Keef had been the smart one to leave Chicago with all his friends, as they were all still alive, while another member would post how the BDs might run the industry, but the GD still run the streets. This was followed a few days later with another member posting how they'll get into it with anyone, together with an 8-ball emoji, while another member would post how all their ops are dead. Meanwhile, some Redditors have claimed that DThang was killed because he had been bragging about putting money on.
Alright, I ain't gonna lie, man. This is like a watch, bro. Shit. I'm gonna have to get back to this, bitch. I ain't gonna hold you. I can't even lie to you, man. Okay. Let's quickly watch what Cam had to say about so Cam spoke about Jim Jones.
They call me like
after Jim Jones essentially do I have a timestamp? Yeah. So Jim Jones went on Justin LaBoy's show, commented on Justin LaBoy show about Cam's interview with 50 Cent. And then Cameron responded this morning, but he went crazy. So this is what Jim Jones said initially.
And 50, what you did, so we was having interior problems at Dipset. Nobody knew about this. Nobody knew that we was like not on the same page.
Right.
So when me and you were battling during our music thing, you got members of Dipset to come to your show.
Them niggas be on my dick, right? Them niggas ain't got nothing else to think about but Capo. I did a lot for them niggas in their life. You heard? Both of them. Pause, though. Get off of my dirt. There's only space on there for baby girl, man. Come on, man. Tugging on my shit like that.
Yo, you never clear shit up, and we never hear your side of the story. Cam was like, I thought we could pull it together. Next thing I know, I see Jim performing with
That
50.
nigga ain't think nothing. He could pull nothing together. He couldn't do nothing with me. He couldn't tell me nothing, nigga. But let's not get this shit twisted. Like, nigga, nobody could tell me nothing, nigga. I was my own boss. I did what I did as a fucking soldier, because I was a soldier, nigga. You heard? I had the soldiers, niggas. Niggas didn't tell me nothing. You heard? I did what I wanted to do. I seen the shit wasn't going right, so I started doing what Jim Jones needed to do for Jim Jones, because the nigga that was supposed to be the Don wasn't taking care of the capo. Started feeling like the Gotti movie, you heard?
But what was the point where you realized I'm gonna have to do what the fuck I gotta do, because this shit.
I mean, it was
the last straw.
There's nothing in my memory like, yo, that was the last straw, but it was just the sequence of the way things was going, and then it came to a point where I had to worry about who Jim Jones was moving forward. Then I was worried about anybody else, because nobody else was worried about me. I got to a point where I became famous too. There was a point where all the famous people know me. Then after that, it was like, shit, I'm just as famous as all the famous people. I can't do what I used to do for you. You heard? Somebody got to do that for me right now, because I'm super lit. You heard? But I put my life on the line for all of this shit, and you know, and everybody knew that.
All right, so essentially you get Jim Jones basically giving his take of the whole situation, saying, yo, listen, man, them niggas is just talking shit. They've been on my dick. They really kind of needed me in whatever aspect. Then he kind of explains his role in Dipset and how he was kind of like pretty much almost like a lifeline of what made Dipset kind of move and made everything go. And Cameron didn't take too kindly to that. Cameron violated early today. I think he did that at the beginning of the show. This is how he started out. Here we go.
All right. How was your vacation, man? How was your vacation?
Mine was great. I saw snow for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's up?
I made a snowman. How was yours?
What you Oh, man. Okay.
It's what they want.
Yo, what's up with Mace? Yo, shout out to Mace.
Well, Mace, I'm glad you're enjoying your popcorn. We got a lot of things to talk about. A lot of people had a lot of things to say. Could start football, or we could start there. Where do y'all want to start?
Yeah, listen, man. Listen, I'm going to address a couple things because we've been on vacation. And a lot of niggas been talking since I was on vacation. We're going to start with Jomo. We'll start with Jomo. And you are a guardian angel and designer, nigga. What the fuck is you talking about, my nigga? You are from the Bronx, bro. You are not from Harlem. Why do you keep thinking that you are from Harlem, bro? You are not from Harlem. I did not grow up with you, my nigga. I did not grow up with you. Contrary to what you believe, I did not grow up with you. You are from the Bronx. Did your grandmother live in Harlem? Yes. Did you come see her? Yes. Did I see you time to time? Yes. I did not grow up with you. You talk about dick ride now. That's where this old shit, I would have left you alone. I would have left the old shit alone. But listen, dick ride, do you remember how we met, nigga? Pause. Not met, how you got cool with us? This is how this started. I want y'all to go Google
Why Cameron look so fly?
Cameron 1995 freestyle.
Tenants and pennies with a 44 Charlie honey. And now I'm in Gotti one. Niggas wanna be cool but couldn't piss in my potty one. And that's not my nigga the door, the bucket anymore. Bucket the store, the rental cops, the reports, sweating niggas like buckets in the water. I got the jacket running wrong. It's like flip the force hard. It's like hard to night the body. Start. Good dude don't make
here to have it, G, or I'ma extinguish two in your cavity. Cause where I'm from is like a ghost town. We fuck
Mace, Cameron, Cardan, DJ Clue.
Niggas don't understand, son. The bullets in their cap and they can't run. Niggas all on top of you, beat you down with handguns, flush back slugs, but you never get the land one. Run with grimy niggas and die with shit your man done. You dream the world I'm living in. Wanna fuck the bitches I be swimming in. Cute, but don't confuse me as I'm feminine. Wilder than them cats that be rowdy to the Benjamin.
Google Children of the Corn 12-minute freestyle.
Nigga like the blast max, put niggas in trash bags, so dash bags will get your ass tagged. Hey yo, the gruff been rough for years. I be bucking queers and throw the ass down the fucking stairs. Stuck to this and you a doom victim. Hey yo, I'm iller than that shit that fuck.
Freestyle. Mo got cool with us. Them freestyles that we just showed y'all, go Google them, have fun with them when you get time. We were popping. It wasn't no internet. Mace, myself, Big L, even though Mace and Big L on the same page, Bloodshed, my man Herb McGruff, we were super duper popping in the street prior to the internet. Everybody knew we was about to get a record deal. Everybody knew this, nigga. It wasn't no secret. Basically, you heard our freestyles and you came up to me one day when I was chilling in front of the house, you said, and this word to my dead mother, yo, man, I heard the freestyles, y'all killing shit. Yo, you know my grandmother died. If y'all wanna come by and just hang out, y'all could, y'all more than welcome. We like, all right, Jomo, thanks. It didn't really make sense at the time because we like, yo, my nigga, where's Jomo inviting us to his house for? Even though he cool nigga. But it didn't make sense to be going to Jomo's house. More freestyles come out. Yo, I heard the new shit you did. I heard the new shit you did. Yo, you want to come through? Come through. Why? Why are we going to Jomo's house? Cool. One day, I'm leaving Mace's house on the west side, going back to the east side. I stopped at Jomo's house. His grandmother died, God bless her dad. And he had a free crib. So yeah, I would bring some bitches over there to fuck sometime. A little crack maybe. I'd be at everybody's house though. I love my grandparents. My grandparents were strict. I stayed at Duke the God house. I stayed at Mace with Kuda. I stayed at her. I stayed a bunch of times. I never needed nowhere to stay. You act like niggas on your couch. You was a fan, nigga. You begged us. You were a fan, nigga. A fan. We didn't grow up with you. I am from 140th and Lenox. I am from NFL. Up the block was 40 Wolves. Lou Simpsons, I'm on 142nd, Crown Square. D. Ferg on number 8th Avenue. I don't see you around none of this. Shout out to my nigga, what's the nigga Final Four Billy and them? You're not from none of that. So you can sit around and act like you've been around all this Harlem shit and everything. You ever see somebody from Harlem try to act like they from Harlem so bad that you got to keep saying, I'm from Harlem? Niggas from Harlem know who's from Harlem. You don't have to keep saying you from Harlem. So that's first and foremost. All this, yo, niggas was on your guy. You were fanned out and you begged niggas to come to your house after you heard all these mixtapes. That's how you got in, nigga. You was so cool. And we was like, yo, Jomo's a nice guy. Mace like, yo, I think I'll teach him how to rap. Mace actually taught you how to rap. Literally. Literally.
Look at
He
Mace.
taught you how to rap. You say it. Matter of fact, bring up the clip.
Mace helped me learn how to rap. Mace taught me how to rap. Mace actually showed me, he was the first person to show me how to rap. Mace actually sat me down and showed me the magic to rap.
We taught you how to rap, nigga. How you ran the whole organization. How you made Diplomat. Nigga, you ain't make none of this stuff. You was a fan. I put you down because you had a free crib and you was a nice guy. That's how you got down originally. Period. Now, to the next point. This all started because I asked 50 Cent a question. Cool. I thought it was cool to ask 50. The shit happened 20 years ago, however many years ago. I thought it was all good. I had no problem thinking, yo, okay, he tricked niggas out their spot, came to the spot. I know 50 said it, and they went under, he was funny. I thought it was funny when he said the shit. But
sad to say, Lil Durk has been booked, man. It's gonna be a lot of videos coming out about Lil Durk, man. This is honestly sad, bro. I'm gonna keep it a being. Like, this is actually sad, like genuinely sad. Lil Durk literally had such a, I don't want to say such a promising career because he still has his career right now. He has his album coming out in a month. Like Lil Durk has so much positive going for him. Like, this case for him is how I see if King Von was still alive for the FBG Duck case. Like, he would have got booked the same way. And they're gonna pin everything on Durk. There's already snitches, like what Rex said. There's a murder involved, murder for hire. they're probably gonna come with a RICO case after. This is not state charges. This is federal charges too. So it's very, very, very much different. Man, I can't really say what I want to say because, YouTube is very weird, but seeing Dirk change his religion recently, they said it's good to be that specific religion while in jail, which I agree. You see a lot of, you feel me, people, that religion, you feel me? It's like they're like a group in jail and they stay together, which is good. But man, going from being a 8, probably 9-figure man, private jets, mansions, to a cell, man, that must do something to you mentally that you can't even fathom, bro. And Lil Durk, honestly, he's like rap wise, he's like up there. Like he's the 21 Savages, whichever tier is the Lil Babies, 21 Savage. You put Lil Durk right in that tier. Like the tier right under the Kendricks, J. Cole's, Drake's, them. He's literally the tier right below them. And it's sad. Lil Durk's been in the game for so long, man. You told him about Slide for Von. He allegedly really did slide for Von. Now he's in this situation. All we could do is pray and hope for the best. I'm considering myself a realist, and I'm looking at the situation. There's snitches, like all the evidence, like OTF cards for everything, and bro, like Lil Durk is the head of all of this. Like, I really just hope he doesn't. If Lil Durk gets life in prison, I know his heart's gonna drop. And how Lil Durk says that he hates snitches, how much he prides himself on hating snitches. Like, I always wonder to myself, if it's someone in Lil Durk's position, if it's either life in prison or you snitch and you get 5 to 10 years, are you snitching? Would you throw your whole life away? You're not going to get to see any of your kids physically grow up anymore. All your money, you have all this money right now, but that money's not, you're the breadwinner, bro. Like 5 to 10 years, 20 years, who knows? The family's connected to you might be broke. Like, you're the breadwinner, bro. Like, it's a crazy world we live in, bro. I genuinely feel bad for Durk, but man, it's hard to even feel bad for Durk because then you'd have to feel bad for Quando, and the whole situation is just sad because it's all this literally started from King Von and Jania, bro. King Von, Asian Doll, Jania, like it's just woman, bro. Woman caused this whole thing to happen. It was a chain reaction, and now we're here. But it's your boy Big Egg News. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and please, 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 please don't, like, woman holds so much power, bro. Like, it's so crazy. And I'm out.